So the exercise was to loop through all of the properties of the suspect objects in the suspects array and mark them if you think you're guilty. I'm curious to see how you guys approached it. So we still have this game here. Do you want to take a stab? Did you finish it?
Mostly. I used a for each method on the array.
You use for each? Okay, did anyone use a loop? Oh, use loop?
It's a for in, like you were showing
Yeah.
me?
Cool. We're going to do for each next, though. You're ahead of the game. All right, so walk me through it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. So I just declared a function called game loop. So var game loop equals function.
Okay.
And the first line of that is a for loop for var I equals 0. I less than games.suspects.length. I plus plus.
Length. You guys had to be my spell check here. Okay.
And I did the for in loop, so I said for key in game.suspects I. And then first line of that is an if statement. And I didn't really know exactly how to figure out who's guilty. You know, I was thinking of getting like the confidential object, but for now I thought Rusty was it, so I just said if game.suspects at I, and then bracket key, because I noticed you can't use dot key here. For whatever reason that didn't work. Maybe you can explain, but I had to do this. So if that all equals Rusty, I just said Rusty in string, then I would have a log that says found one, and or return true maybe, but I just did a log there. Found him, yeah.
I can type.
Yeah, and then else, not this time, or something like that.
All right.
So since we have one of the things matching, that should return one found him and the rest next times.
Cool. I like it. How many times does this outer loop run? I feel like I pick on the people on the outside the most. Actually, I haven't talked to our friend in the back. How many times does this loop run?
It runs for each entry.
For each
in-
what?
Runs for each entry in suspects.
Yeah, so each suspect object, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in number form, 2 times, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. How many times does this loop run?
4.
Yeah. And what order does it run in? So if I was going to console.log, and I'm going to try to do this quick. So outer loop. Then we console.log. Inner loop. What pattern would it log? Someone in this area of the room. I'm getting like decision fatigue, choosing people. So, what's the first thing that I will log? How about Cambrian? Sorry.
Outer loop.
Yep. So it'll log outer loop. Okay. And then our lawyer friend. What's the next thing that'll loop? Or the next thing that'll log?
Inner loop?
Okay.
And then another inner loop.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 more inner loops.
Not quite. So, at this point, our first inner loop, suspect is going to be our very first one, right? It's going to be rusty orange. So, for all the keys in this object, it's going to run it twice. So, the first one is name, right? Next one is color. And then that's it. So, then we break out of this loop and we continue back here. Assuming that we didn't hit this if-else statement, which we would have. Does that make sense? Or why it doesn't keep looping?
Not really. If you could just probably go.
Yeah, sure, one more time. So, do you know what this object is?
Yeah, it's the first key in suspects. What's rusty and orange?
Yeah. So, and it's going to loop through this object. So, there are two properties in this object, right? There's name and then there's color. So, it's going to loop through both of those. And that's all it knows about because, you know, I is 0 and we've only made it that far. So, the loop doesn't like jump ahead. It doesn't know that, in fact, we're going to ask it to loop again for the next one, but it won't know that until we say game suspects at 1. See what I mean? Does that clarify? Yeah. Cool. So we have outer loop, inner loop, inner loop, and then this corner over here. How about on the end? What's the next thing that's going to log? Do you know?
Outer loop?
Not quite. Since suspects at I
Oh.
is rusty.
Yeah.
So what's the next thing?
If it's rusty, it's gonna print found them.
Yeah. Awesome. And then what's the next thing that's going to run? Next door. Right there. What's the next log?
Me?
He's like,
Well,
not
you-
me, please.
You fulfilled the logic when you found rusty, right?
When you say we fulfilled the logic, what does that mean?
Like it was equal to rusty, so you console log you found it, so you resumed on the if.
Uh,
But then you're gonna, if you iterate again,
Uh-huh.
then you gonna go through that process and catch the else.
well, what's the very next thing that happens after this? So you're right that, you know, we met a condition for our if statement, we entered into an if block, and then, you know, we're going to move on from that.
You're probably gonna go back to the outer loop
Yeah.
and repeat the operation.
So we'll console log outer loop next. And then next,
And inner loop twice more.
yeah, we'll do inner loop.
Shouldn't found them actually be after the first inner loop? So we're matching the name.
Yeah, you mean like this one should be later? Well, I think I mean, there's no guaranteed, but we'll just pretend that it's named, just for fun. So then it's going to be inner loop. What's that?
There's no guarantee on the order of the properties.
No, we'll just pretend. And then we're going to enter into the if-else. What do you think it's going to log? We're here.
Why is it running again through it? Why didn't it stop after it found Rusty? It did
Um,
the console.log found him. Why would it go?
Where did it tell it to stop?
Oh, because it just logged it to the console.
Mm-hmm. How could you tell it to stop, do you know?
Break.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could break, you could return, stuff like that. Cool.
Would it log? So it's just gonna do Rusty again. and
Well,
play,
the
or is it gonna
color
log
is orange. Yeah, it's going to be the next property. So then it'll say next time.
Okay.
Does that make
Because
sense?
it's not Rusty,
Yeah,
and that has to be.
yeah. Cool. You guys see where this is going and how this flows? Okay. Cool. I think we should take a break. It's been an hour.
Can we run it once just to see if we're right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, we need this. Just because I don't want to run into more issues with that. Game has already been declared. All right. Okay. So game loop. What did I say? Game 23. This is a problem. You guys are supposed to be my spell check. Okay. All right, now I think we're ready. Let's see. So we have outer loop, inner loop, found them, inner loop. Should we look at it side by side maybe? All right, let's see. Outer loop, inner loop, found them. Oh, we did make a mistake.
It's gonna go through inner loop again. And then next time.
Mm-hmm. How do we get there? Okay. I thought that's what we did. Oh well.
Then two inner loop next times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I
Part
didn't
you
go
missed
through
was
all of
going
them.
back through both of the
What's that?
properties. The part you missed was the inner loop going through multiple properties.
Yeah. Yeah, well the second one we didn't finish the second one, but yeah, I think we
Inner
skipped
loop's
something.
gonna run twice
Yeah.
because it's going through two different keys.
Yeah, and it's also going to be hitting this if else, which will be logging as well. Cool.